Welcome and good afternoon. This is Kamish Orr, and welcome to Game 1 of the World Series between the Detroit Rockets and the St. Louis Wizards. It is June 3rd, Friday, June 3rd, for this 7 p.m. game between these two teams with no interleague play. The first time these two teams have faced off against one another this season. St. Louis coming in as a heavy favorite in this one. They'll not only have home field advantage, but on paper, they have the little bit better team. Detroit with the better offensive team, but the Wizards with such a better pitching staff and an offense that was best in the National League as well. In addition to that, the Wizards have a lefty on the mound tonight, Carl Hubble, and Detroit has only faced left-handed pitch starters 8 times out of their 54 games. And they had a record of 3-5 against those lefty starters. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here in this one. Carl Hubble, if we take a look here, Carl Hubble had a 9-1 record on the season with a 2.71 ERA. On the mound for Detroit tonight is Roger Clemens. He was 6-5 on the season with a 3.66 ERA. And let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Detroit Rockets. Leading off, we have Kenny Lofton in center field. Batting second, Ichiro Suzuki in right field. Batting third is Alex Rodriguez at shortstop. In the cleanup spot, we have Dick Allen at first base. Batting fifth, we have Manny Ramirez in left field. Back behind the plate tonight is Thurman Munson at catcher. Charlie Blackwell will be the DH tonight. Adrian Beltre will be playing third base. And Bobby Grich will be batting ninth and playing second for the Detroit Rockets. Detroit with a different lineup here against lefties, one that they haven't used during the season, but they will see how this goes tonight. In fact, let me save this Detroit lineup so I can use it since I'll have the same lineup against the other lefties that they'll face in this series. Now, out in the field for the St. Louis Wizards, playing first base, we have Willie McCovey. Second base, we have Rogers Hornsby. Third base, we have Ron Santo. Shortstop, we have Ozzie Smith. Playing left field is Stan Musial. Center field, Oscar Charleston. Right field, Tony Gwynn. And behind the plate for the Wizards will be Ted Simmons. Again, Carl Hubble on the mound tonight. Now, a couple of notes. You see the setup of the way I have things set up here. I have ball score here to score the game. I have the player cards aligned here on the right-hand side. Tonight we are playing in Sportsman Park, the 1948 version that the St. Louis Cardinals played in for the St. Louis Wizards. So that's the home stadium for the St. Louis Wizards. I do also have a percentage dice here and a couple of D6s in case I need to use those. But I am using the Payoff Pitch dice roller here, and that's what I'll be using. Now, also, I have my charts here. I have a base running chart that I use that ID Jester, I believe, put together. I have the charts that I'll be using for stolen bases and that kind of thing. Here's where I'll see all of the rare plays and have access to those. I do also normally use the pregame chart to rest players, but considering it's the World Series, neither team will be doing any resting of players out of the ordinary, so I will not be using this pregame event chart like I normally would. That's just a note to everybody. I will not be using the pregame event chart, even though I use it throughout the season, because neither team will be resting their players. And I also want the teams that have a kind of a fair shot at this with no injuries and that kind of thing to deal with. So, with all of that said, we are ready for the first pitch of the game here. All right, so down here in this screen, you can see the die rolls that I'll be using. And let's take a look at the first pitch here. It is a patient result from Carl Hubble. He gets behind in the count, and he's going to walk Kenny Lofton. That's a good start for the Detroit Rockets here as Lofton gets on. And does he have a good jump here? He has a steal rating of 8, and the jump rating is 7. So let's take a look here at the chart. 18, I believe, is going to be good. You have Lofton with an 8, Hubble with a hold rating of 6. So 8 and 6 would be 0 to 63. He's going to attempt, and it's an 18, so he will attempt. B2, and the steal number here is 11. B2, 11. It's definitely going to be a stolen base and a potential error on the throw. So we're going to roll a 6-sider here, which I'll look at the red one. And Simmons has an error rating of 3. So anything higher than 3, and it's going to be thrown away. It is 3, so it's going to be caught, but still going to be a stolen base there for Lofton. And he's going to be on second base. Now let's see if he gets a jump for third. He'll need to roll doubles under or equal to 8, which he does. He does roll doubles. So he's going to take a shot at stealing third to get this game started here. Potentially. We'll see if he attempts it. Again, we're going to be looking at 8 and 6. This is 1 to 63, I believe. 8 and 6. 0 to 63. 47, which means he is going to attempt. And we have the B2 again. I'm going to roll the percentage down here this time, since we've already used that steal number. 13. And that is going to be caught stealing third. Caught stealing third with a B2. It's right, the first number needed for caught stealing here. So right off the bat, Lofton gets to something going by stealing second. Tries to get take a little bit of initiative to take third, and it doesn't work out. So interesting start to the World Series here. And that brings up Ichiro. By the way, I always steal if the numbers say to steal. So that's how I play it, and that's how I plan to play the World Series here. So maybe Lofton wouldn't have attempted that, but because of the way it rolls, that's the way I'm rolling it. All right, in play, 78, and that's going to be a fly out there to Charleston in center. That brings up Alex Rodriguez with 2 outs. Wheelhouse 54, and there it is. It's back. It's deep. And that's a home run from Alex Rodriguez. Alex Rodriguez led the American League in homers, and here he gets a hold of this one and gets Detroit on the board. Lofton regretting his decision to try to take third with a stolen base there. They could have been up 2-0, but they'll have to settle for being up only 1-0. Hubble left that one in the zone, and Alex Rodriguez made him pay for that one. So Detroit takes a lead 1-0, and next up we have Dick Allen. Tough 22, and that will be a strikeout. So Hubble kind of rebounds from that and strikes out Dick Allen to end the top of the first. All right. So now we have Clemens taking the mound here. I already mentioned the defensive positions when I gave you the starting lineup for the Detroit Rockets. Let's look at the lineup for the St. Louis Wizards here. Leading off will be Oscar Charleston. Batting second will be Tony Gwynn. Batting third will be Larry Walker. Cleaning up tonight will be Stan Musial, who led the National League in homers. Batting fifth will be Willie McCovey. Sixth will be Ted Simmons. Seventh will be Ron Santo. Eighth will be Rogers Hornsby. And the number 9 hitter will be Ozzie Smith, the team namesake. So, let's see how Clemens fares against this lineup. Clemens, again, during the regular season was only 6-5, but he did have the best ERA on the Detroit Rockets. Tough 38, And Charleston hits one that bounces around in the gap, and he'll make it to third on that one. So the Wizards responding right here with a leadoff triple from Oscar Charleston. A good chance to score him. Here comes Tony Gwynn. Tough 52. And they'll be playing in, by the way. And that's going to be a ground out to first base here. And let's see here. Defense playing in. It's not a wheelhouse or an in play. So we're not going to consult the defense playing in chart. Instead, that's going to be a ground out to the first baseman. And Gwynn will not try to, or excuse me, Charleston will not try to take home on that one, with this only being the first out. So Dick Allen will take it himself to first base. Looks Charleston back. And we have one out, and Charleston still on third here. That brings up Larry Walker. Tough 23, and Clemens gets ahead in the count and strikes him out. Suddenly it looks like it might have been a bad decision not to send Charleston on that one. But the top offensive threat on the Wizards steps to the plate. Clemens deals, and Stan Musial strikes out. Clemens gets out of that leadoff triple jam. Does just what he needed to do. And we'll go to the top of the second with the Detroit Rockets still up 1-0. Manny Ramirez leading off the second inning here. Tough 22, and Ramirez will go down on strikes here to lead off the inning. That brings up Thurman Munson. Munson was the normal starting catcher against lefties this year, but as I mentioned, there are only 8 starts against lefties that the Rockets had. And this is going to be a defensive play. So let's see. Third base range. Santos a B range, 64. And that's going to be an out. Would have been a fielder's choice, but he will get that over there to first for the second out of the inning. Charlie Blackwell will step up. Tough 64. And that will be a base hit for Blackwell. All right, 2 outs. They try to get something going here. Blackwell has a steal rating or a jump rating of 4. And so he will not attempt to get a jump here. Adrian Beltre, who was great offensively, but did much worse against lefties this year. Tough 52. And that will be a base hit. And with 2 outs, Blackwell will take third on that one. So the Rockets threatening here in the second. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. Beltre doesn't even have a jump rating, so he's not going to try to do anything here. But the number 9 hitter, Bobby Grich. Patient. 88. And that's going to be another base hit. Once again, Beltre will take third on that one with 2 outs. Runners with a run rating of 6 or higher take 2 bases on a single. And number 9 hitter drives in a run here. The Rockets now up 2-0, and that brings up the top of the order again. Before we get too far, let's see what Grich is. Okay, he only had a jump rating of 2, so he's not going to go anywhere. Kenny Lofton. In play, 84. That's going to be high enough that it's a fly out to Charleston to end the inning. But the Detroit offense getting things going here in each of the first 2 innings against Carl Hubble, showing that they can score against the lefties. All right, bottom of the second, Clemens comes up to face Willie McCovey. Tough 39, and that is going to be squeaked through the infield for a base hit for McCovey here. So once again, they get the leadoff hitter on base. McCovey does not have a jump rating, so he won't attempt to steal. That brings up Ted Simmons. He doesn't have a sacrifice rating, so he's going to be swinging away here. Tough 22. And that's going to be a double for Simmons. And I usually roll to see where the double lands. 1, 2, 3 is to the pull side. 4 and 5 to center. 6 to opposite field. That is a 5, which means it's a double that Kenny Lofton will be fielding here. And he has an amazing arm, a 4-arm. Since it was a tough result, I always subtract 2 from the running rating of the fielder or the man on base, and that's a 4. So he's not going anywhere. He will hold up at third. And right away, we have the Wizards with runners in scoring position with no outs. Simmons on second, McCovey on third, and that brings up Ron Santo. See if Clemens can get out of this one. Infield in again. Tough 6. That will be a strikeout. So Clemens making the... seems to be thriving there in the runners in scoring position situations. Here he is in the clutch here with another strikeout. Rogers Hornsby, who did have a terrible season. I think he hit under 200 this year. 5, 6, and that's going to be another strikeout. Can Clemens get out of this again? It's going to come down to Ozzie Smith with 2 outs and runners on second and third. 7:55. That's tough. 55. It's going to be high enough, and that's going to be a ground out to third. So once again, for the second inning in a row, the Wizards strand a runner on third base with no outs. Clemens able to get out of the jam with some key clutch strikeouts here. So here we are, top of the third. Ichiro Suzuki facing off against Carl Hubble. In play, 50. And that's going to be a ground out to back to the pitcher, excuse me. Hubble takes that one himself. Tosses it over to McCovey for the first out. Alex Rodriguez stepping in once again. In play, 18. And that's going to be a clean base hit there for A-Rod. He's 2 for 2 now for this game with that leadoff homer in the first. Had this been the first time he had reached base, his jump rating would have been a 5, but it is only a 4, so he will not attempt here. Dick Allen. 11 is a defense. Third base error, 19. Santo has an error rating of 4. 19 is going to be in the error range. That's a one-base error. Santo can't come up with that one. He bobbles it a little bit, and everybody's going to be safe on the play. Once again, the Rockets taking advantage here. That will bring up Manny Ramirez with runners on first and second and 1 out. Hubble deals. In play, 7. And that one's going to be in the gap. We will see where it goes. It's going to be the left fielder. Musial will get a hold of this one. He has a 6 for an arm. Rodriguez with a 7. Or excuse me, Allen with a 6 also at first base. And this was in play, so let's see what a double to left. Double to left, in play 8 or more. So he is going to hold up. Allen will hold up at third. I usually, if it's within 1 of the running rating, I will roll to see if they attempt to take the extra base. But if it's 2 or more, I do not do that. So since it was an 8 or more for him to score automatically, and he only has a run rating of 6, he will hold up here. But third straight inning, they're scoring here. Second and third, only 1 out. Thurman Munson steps up. Tough 18, and that's going to be a strikeout. Now, if it ends in 8, 9, or 10, 8, 9, or 0, I call it looking. Strikeout looking. So Munson watches strike 3 go by here, and Hubble has a chance to get out of this one with limited damage done. He'll have to get through Charlie Blackwell here. Tough 50. And Blackwell also caught watching that third strike go by. So Hubble, just what he needed to get out of here, but has not been sharp so far in this game, as the Rockets score 1 in each of the first 3 innings. Bottom of the third, Oscar Charleston will step up. That's going to be a defense. Second base error 1. Now he has a 3, but a 1 is always an error. It's going to be a 1 base error to a Bobby Grich here. Can't come up with this one. So now both teams have an error. Let's see if this one costs them. In fact, let me go back and make sure that that was an earned run here. So he would have been on first still. Second, we're going to call this run unearned, because had this been cleanly fielded here, that Alex Rodriguez would have still been on first, and that double, giving the benefit of the doubt to the defense, he would have held up at third base probably, and they would have gotten out of that inning. So, all right, back to the results here. So Oscar Charleston jumps 7. He only has a 5, so he will not go anywhere. Tony Gwynn will sacrifice on a 2 or a 12. 641. Patient 41. And that's going to be a base hit. And unfortunately, an opposite field base hit, so that'll be to left. So for the runner to go to first to third, it's not in play. And it is Charleston we're talking about here. But it's to left. So -2 from this. Ramirez has a 6 arm. Yeah, he's not going to go anywhere. That's above the arm total here. So he's going to just stay. All right, so we have runners on first and second here. Larry Walker steps up. Once again, Clemens getting into a little bit of trouble here. Ballpark, this could be dangerous. 45. Clemens leaves one in the wheelhouse. 33. And Walker takes this one deep for a 3-run homer, and this game is tied up. The crowd is going crazy out there at Sportsman Park as Larry Walker ties this one up 3-3. The Wizards have new life, and there's still nobody out as Stan Musial comes up. Patient 44, and he has a base hit. Jump and steal. He's going to stay put there. Clemens desperately needs an out here to get some momentum or stop this momentum that the Wizards have going. Tough 47. G5. So that's a grounder to third. 7, double play of 6 or less. So it's not going to be a double play, but it's going to be a fielder's choice here. 5-4. So McCovey is now on first base, and he has no jump rating, so he's not going anywhere. Ted Simmons. 8, tough 44. G1. Now it's Simmons hits into a lot of double plays, but Clemens does not induce a lot of double plays. So once again, 44 was a G1. Clemens will take this one to second. 1-6 for the force out. But they're not able to turn 2. So now we have Simmons on first base. Once again, he's not going anywhere. Ron Santo, tough 86. And that's going to be a grounder to short here. Alex Rodriguez throws to first for the third out, but not before the Wizards tie things up and make this game interesting again. Top of the fourth, Adrian Beltre here facing off against Hubble. Defense. Third base error 92. Well, that's not going to be an error for anybody, so they pop out. Beltre pops out to Santo over at third, who hauls it in for the first out of the inning. And that takes us to Bobby Grich. Tough 63. Nearly a base hit, but instead, Hornsby is able to get this one. Throw it to first for out number 2. The Rockets needing some momentum here. Tough 53. And Lofton hits one down the line. That one's going to rattle around in the corner. And he pulls up to third base with a triple. Tough 53. Yep, that's a triple for Lofton. It gives them some hope here. Ichiro, a great contact hitter. Tough 16, but he's going to strike out to end the inning. And we go to the bottom of the fourth. Clemens facing off against Hornsby. Tough 64. And that's a ground out to Bobby Grich for out number 1. That brings us to Ozzie Smith. Tough 48. And that is an easy ground ball over to Dick Allen for out number 2. Gets us back to the top of the order here with Oscar Charleston. Tough 66. And that is an easy fly out to Manny Ramirez in left. 1-2-3 inning. And we head to the 5th. Alex Rodriguez, he's reached base both his times up today. In play 14. And he will once again, with a leadoff base hit, leadoff single here. Once again, not quite enough to get a jump. So Dick Allen will come up. Patient, 92. That will be a base hit for Dick Allen. Okay, that's going to center field. Charleston has a 5-arm, or excuse me, a 6-arm. And Rodriguez has a 7. 8, he will hold up at second base. So, first and second here. The Rockets threatening once again. We have Manny Ramirez. Tough 73. That's going to be a fly out to center. And I believe fly out advance to third. Hit to center. He needs a runner rating of 8 or more. And so Alex Rodriguez won't take a shot here. He'll hold up. All right, Thurman Munson. Patient, 69. This could be it. Ground out to second base. A 4 is below both double play ratings, so that'll be a 4.63 double play to end the inning. And Munson grounds into a double play to end the threat. Hubble, very glad about that one. As we head to the bottom of the 5th, the score still tied 3-3. All right. Clemens facing off against Tony Gwynn. Tough 61. That's going to be an easy fly out to Manny Ramirez in left. Larry Walker, who was the hero of the 3rd inning. 9, tough 97. And that's going to be a fly out to Ichiro there in right. 2 outs, and Stan the Man comes up. Tough 53. And he is going to ground out to Adrian Beltre to end the inning. That's another 1-2-3 inning for Clemens. He hasn't struck anybody out since the second inning, but here in the last two, he's been getting the job done. So we head to the top of the sixth. Score still tied at 3. Hubble facing off against Charlie Blackwell. Wheelhouse, uh-oh. Blackwell, not a lot of power against lefties, but that's going to be enough to go through for a base hit here. Jump needed of 6, and he has a 4, so he's not going to go anywhere or attempt it here. Brings up Adrian Beltre here. 8-12, in play 12, and that's going to be a base hit. Blackwell with some speed, and that's a single to right. Single to right, in play 7 or above, and he does have it, so he will take third on the single. Runners in the corners, no outs. Bobby Grich steps up. Corners will be in. Still in double play positioning up the middle here. In play. That'll be a single. Except that's in play. Even number ground out to a position playing in will result in a base hit instead of an out. So let's see. This was an in-play 20. It's a single, and he is, I guess let's see which of the fielders here it gets hit to. We'll do 1, 2, third base, 3, 4 short, 5 second, and 6 first. That's hit to third base, and he was playing in, so that's going to squeak through for a base hit. Gets right in between third and short there, and that's going to score the go-ahead run. Bobby Grich, for not playing much this year, has come in clutch here a couple of times. So we have runners on first and second now. Back to Kenny Lofton, the leadoff hitter. In play 58. All right, 3-8 is higher than Lofton's double play. It's hit to first, so he's going to attempt the double play. It's going to be a 3-6 for a fielder's choice. And Beltre will take third on the put out. Lofton will be on first. Jump of 7. He has a steal of 8. So let's see if he gets if he's going to go for it here. 8 against a hold of 6. And he does. He is going to attempt B2 again. 73. B2 73, and that's going to be a stolen base for Lofton. His second of the game. So second and third, just one out. Ichiro Suzuki stepping up. Tough 49. And that's hit back to the pitcher. Runners are going to hold as Hubble tosses over to first for out number 2. Alex Rodriguez, 3 for 3 today. He has a chance to do some real damage here with men on second and third. Tough 82. That is going to be above his single range here. He's going to ground out to short to end the inning. But not before the Rockets score a run thanks to infield in situation. So Clemens, bottom of the 6th here, facing McCovey. He has a fatigue of 8, so we won't really need to worry about fatigue until the 8th inning here for him. Patient 71. And he will hit McCovey to lead off the inning. There's booing in the stands, but Surely not intentional here with only a 1-run lead. And McCovey being the leadoff hitter. Ted Simmons, tough 4, and he will strike him out. Brings up Ron Santo. Tough 59, and that is just past the single range here. It's going to be a ground out to third, and 5 is below both DP ratings. That is going to be a 5-4-3 double play to end the inning. Clemens has been pretty good these last 3 innings. Wizards haven't been able to figure him out other than the one big inning in the third. So we head to the 7th. Hubble's still out there. He has a fatigue rating of 8 also. So this will probably be his final inning. Tough 21, and he strikes out Dick Allen to start off the inning. Brings up Manny Ramirez. In play 76. And he flies out to Charleston in center. Thurman Munson. Grounded into the double play in the 5th. 0 for 3 today. And he will be 0 for 4 after his strikeout here. So Hubble, if he's coming out, he at least left things, left with a good inning. Clemens also with a fatigue of 8, so this probably will be his last inning as well. Rogers Hornsby. It's going to be a defense. Shortstop, error 12. And with an error rating of 3, a 12 is going to be an error. A-Rod bobbles one. That's not how you want to lead off the 7th here. So Hornsby reaches base. 4 minus means his jump would be a 3. He's going to not go anywhere here. Ozzie Smith will sacrifice on a 2, 3, or 11. Tough 60. And that will be a fly out to left. Hornsby is not going anywhere on that one. Top of the order, Oscar Charleston. He is 1 for 3 today with that leadoff triple to start off the first inning. Tough 44. That's going to be a base hit. 4 means it's to center. Lofton has an arm rating of 6. It was a tough, so we're going to subtract 2 from both of those. And he isn't going to go try to take third on that. Hornsby holds at second. So first and second, 1 out. That brings up Tony Gwynn, who's 1 for 3 today. Tough 97. That will be a fly out to right. And I believe fly out to right, 7 or more, and he advances, and Hornsby does have a 7 or more, so it's going to be a fly out to right. Ichiro hauls it in. Hornsby will take third. Charleston holds it first. So runners on the corners here. Larry Walker, once again, 2 outs. 2 runners on. Dangerous situation here for Clemens. Defense. Second base range. He has a range rating of C. 1 to 48 is a hit, but it is a 55. It's going to be a pop out to second here. Rich is going to be able to get to this one. And the Rockets make it out of the inning with no damage done after the leadoff error by Alex Rodriguez. So top of the 8th, let's take a look and see. Hubble went 7 innings, and he's going to come out of this one. And I believe since the game's close, they're going to turn things over to Fergie Jenkins here. Fergie Jenkins is going to come in. Jenkins not unhittable this season, so we'll see how he does here. He will face Blackwell and Beltre for sure. Let's take a look here at Blackwell's at bat. In play 36. And that's going to be another single. Blackwell 3 for 4. Jump of 9. He has a 4, so he's not going anywhere there. That brings up Adrian Beltre. Tough 90. G6. Okay, well, 9 is going to be higher than either of the double plays. So that is going to be a fielder's choice here. 6 to 4. So Beltre will be on first base here. 1 out. Gritch, who is 2 for 3 with 2 RBI, they're going to leave him in, actually. He doesn't usually play against righties, but he is going to stay in there. Lou Whitaker, usually the starter when a righty is starting for the opposing team. But Whitaker didn't have the greatest average, I think 247 or something like that. So Gritch has been having a great game. He's going to stay in here. Defense. Second base error check. And Hornsby has an error rating of 2. 1 to 46 is going to be an error, and that is going to be an error. Just a one-base error. But that's still enough to put runners on first and second with 1 out. Both teams have made 2 errors now in this one. And unfortunately, that's going to bring up the top of the order. Could have really helped Fergie Jenkins out there, but instead he's going to face Kenny Lofton with only 1 out. All right, defense, and this is going to be a rare play. So I will use the number 19 down here on the rare play chart for defense. Okay, so bases, runners on, defense, and it was number 19, I believe. If the runner on first base, which there is, ground ball to second, is fielded and tossed to shortstop for the force out. Runner upends the shortstop, and the batter is called out for defensive, or for, excuse me, the batter's called out for interference for a double play. Check shortstop for injury. All right, so there was a runner, so we don't have to look at this if no runner's on. So this is interesting. There's going to be a double play. 4 to 6 to 3. So let's score that first. 4 to 6 to 3. And Bobby Gritch came in hard there. 19, yep. 19. Check shortstop for injury. And the shortstop in question is Ozzie Smith. So Ozzie Smith, durable. So let's take a look and see what we're going to be looking at here. Durable, 0 to 69. He will be okay, and he will not come out of the game. 36. Okay. Ozzie Smith shaken up on the play, but remains in the game. Scary, scary there for the Wizards, as their backup shortstop, Bill Mazeroski, I believe. Good defensively, but is that their backup shortstop? Oh, no, excuse me, Pee Wee Reese. I got him mixed up. Yeah, it wouldn't have been Mazeroski. He plays second base. He's not a shortstop. Pee Wee Reese. In any event, Ozzie Smith is just shaking up a little bit of the play on the play, but he'll remain in the game. So, 8th inning, Clemens is going to come out of this one. So we go to the Detroit Rockets. Clemens went 7 innings. And the Rockets will bring in Dan Quisenberry, who has been one of the better relievers in the league this year. Quisenberry. And Quisenberry will have his work cut out for him here, as he faces off against Stan Musial to lead off the inning. 1085. Okay, so here's the interesting thing about Quisenberry. On tough rolls, we have to add 10. So instead of 1085, this will be 1095. Either way, it would have been an out. This time it's a fly out to right. So Musial only 1 for 4 this game so far. Brings up Willie McCovey, who is 1 for 2. He got hit his last time up. He will be batting here. 8. That's in play. 69. And that's going to be a ground out to short. Alex Rodriguez fields it cleanly. Over to Dick Allen for out number 2. Ted Simmons, 1 for 3 with that double in the second inning. Patient, 72. Wow, that is above his patient range. So he will also ground out to short. And Quisenberry gets the 1-2-3 inning here from the Wizards. That takes us to the 9th. The Rockets still up 4-3. And Jenkins will stay in this one. He does have short fatigue. They'll allow him to go a second inning here since it's a close game. Defense. First base error. That's McCovey. He has an error of 4, but 1-30, and it's a 13. Wow, another error. That's 5 errors combined for these two teams. 1 base error here on McCovey. That is, again, not how you want to start an inning. Ichiro, it's his first time on base, actually. So it would be a 7, but it's an 8 down here, so he's going to stay put. That brings up Alex Rodriguez. Tough 10. And he watches strike 3 go by. Dick Allen to the plate. In play, 69. A G4, that 10 is above both of their ratings. 10, 11, and 12, I always have the runner advance on those. So 69 was a ground out to second. So that's going to be fielded and thrown to first. Hornsby to McCovey. And Ichiro will take second on the throw. Manny Ramirez, again, usually doesn't bat against righties, but he's 1 for 4 here with that RBI double. He'll go ahead and stay in here. In play, 39. It's not a wild pitch. And he's going to pop up to McCovey. And that will be the end of the top of the 9th. We head to the bottom of the 9th. The Rockets hold on to a 1-run lead here. And they will bring in their closer, Tom Henke. All right. And now we have some situations here to take a look at for the Wizards. Ron Santo is 0 for 3. But he's had a good season, so he will go ahead and bat. Hornsby probably won't, but let's see what Santo does here. Tough 83, and that's going to be a fly out to Lofton for out number 1. Hornsby, who's had a rough season batting-wise, will probably be pinch hit for. And their top pinch hitter here against righties is Chipper Jones. So let's see Chipper Jones. And Chipper's going to go ahead and pinch hit here for Hornsby. Chipper Jones. All right, let's see what Henke does against him. Tough 87. And that's going to be a ground out to second for out number 2. Ozzie Smith, number 9 hitter. 0 for 3 this game. Also not a great offensive threat. The second in the list of pinch hitters here is Tim Raines. So Raines will be pinch hitting for Ozzie Smith here with 2 out in the 9th. Let's see if he can do anything magical. Tough 60. He does not. That is going to be an easy grounder over to third, and Beltre takes it over to Dick Allen. And the Rockets win this one 4-3. Amazing. That's just what they needed to do here in St. Louis, and they did it. The offense was chugging along there in the first 3 innings. Clemens had one bad pitch that he left up in the wheelhouse there for Larry Walker to get a hold of. But other than that, if it weren't for that, could have had a shutout on his hands here. Though chances are somebody else would have probably scored here in the 3rd, but still. So let's take a look at the Clemens will pick up the win here. Quisenberry gets a hold. Henke gets a save. And Hubble gets the loss. So Hubble was 9-1 on the season. He had, I think, several straight wins in a row here. But he gets the loss in this first game. And again, the Rockets showing that they can hit the left-handed starters, just what they needed to do. We take a look here at the hit situation. The Rockets, 4 runs on 13 hits. They did commit 2 errors. The Wizards, only 3 runs, 7 hits, and they committed 3 errors. Only one of those errors actually did any damage to him here in the 3rd inning. Go-ahead run against Bobby Grich, 2 for 4 with 2 RBI. Alex Rodriguez had that home run in the 1st. He was 3 for 5. He did score 2 of the runs. Only had 1 of the RBI. But I guess if we had to give player of the game honors, his 3 for 5 probably outweighs the 2 for 4 a little bit with that home run, and he scored twice. So probably Alex Rodriguez, though honestly probably Roger Clemens, right? Roger Clemens, 7 innings pitched, allowed 7 hits, only 3 runs, 1 of them unearned, so only 2 earned runs. Got out of some jams with a couple key strikeouts. So yeah, I think I'll give this one to Roger Clemens. So Detroit takes game 1. They go up to 1-0 here in the World Series. These 2 teams will face off again tomorrow. We'll have Juan Marichal here for the Wizards facing off against Brett Saberhagen for the Rockets. And of course, the Rockets will have their typical batting order tomorrow against the righty before they face Steve Carlton, who had 4 shutouts this season. So another key game, but they really needed this one, and they got it. The Wizards with the heavy favorite here in the World Series, but go down in the first game. And that's where we will leave things. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Until next time, catch us again. Head over to baseballmaelstrom.com to catch the stats and follow the action. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, have a great evening.